we don't know what we are consuming. Are they actual medicines or they are supplements? It's been quite some time when major social media platforms lost interest in news. Traditional newsrooms are facing a lot of challenge. That has been traditional journalism. Is it lost somewhere? Yes. Is it gone forever? No.
There is this race to be the first to report, to be the first to go viral. Where do you think we are heading with this big shift? How do you think AI will impact media? AI will impact information and the way we consume it.
If you look at news organizations, a lot of them have banned ChatGPT.
As journalist, what should you pick, opportunity or risk?
I mean, both.
If you strip away the noise, the real challenge is this. In today's era, how much information is scanned by the editors and how much is decided by algorithms and platforms? For decades, editors have decided what news must reach the public. Today, engagement drives, platforms and recommendation engines decide what stories should our audience really see. So as media enters the YouTube and artificial intelligence era, one important question emerges. Do editors still influence the news distribution, or are our algorithms and platforms deciding what news reaches our public? Welcome to Voices of Clarity, where we explore how ideas shape platforms, industries, and society. I am Dr. Guni Vats, and today we are joined by Dr. Shilpi Jha, Dean School of Media Studies and Humanities, Manav Rachna. Welcome.
Thank you, Guni. Thank you for having me.
Let me begin with the big shift. For decades, television dominated the media space. Today, audiences are increasingly depending on YouTube, digital platforms, and social media for their information. From your perspective, what has changed the most in the way information is sourced and reaches people today?
Well, first of all, Guni, we need to understand there's a difference between information and news. Not all information qualifies to be news. However, the biggest casualty in the tech-driven or algorithm-driven content consumption, as we call it, the biggest casualty is, that losing that differentiation between information and news, and of course, credibility. So amidst all the made, of course, all of us are consuming more content in any given 24-hour cycle than we ever used to, or than our parents or grandparents ever used to. But are we better informed at the end of the day? I doubt, because what we are consuming most is opinion and not news, right? So that obscureness is costing us a lot of, a lot of our mental peace, and it's made the entire ecosystem very chaotic, so to speak. So we just lack that one trusted voice. Who do we trust? Now, for decades or over a century, our editors, platform doesn't matter. It's not like mainstream media organizations are not present on YouTube. Right? A lot of newspaper organizations dived into the television space. A lot of them also, launched their FM radio arms when that came. Then everybody ventured into a digital media space even before social media came into existence. And then, of course, it's not like they are not present there. But who are they competing with? They're not competing with each other. One news organization is not competing there only with other news organizations. They are competing with, a person with a smartphone and a social media handle who can qualify to be a journalist without probably understanding the nuances of journalism, right? So so the entire ecosystem has become very confusing. And as an audience, you don't know which place to go. It's like, the day you lose touch with reality and you don't know anymore the difference between, say, an AI prompted answer on your health vis-a-vis your specialist or your family doctor. And just imagine that situation and where that brings you. So this is where we are in terms of consumption of news and current affairs these days. We don't know what we are consuming. Are they actual, medicines, or they are supplements?
Very rightly said. What are we consuming? Taking a cue from what you said, traditionally, editors acted as the gatekeeper of news. They decided what was credible, relevant, and must pass as news. Not every information could flow through. Today, algorithms are playing that role. So do you think there must still be a balance between this editorial judgment and algorithmic decisions?
See, when we talk about editors, it's not like the editor was the only gatekeeper. The reporters were gatekeepers too. No algorithm or no AI or no technology can replace a reporter's insights when they are on the field. Technology cannot replace that. So they were your first eyes and ears, and as well as gatekeepers in the field. Then the information will come to the newsroom, and then of course there will be processing and writing and rewriting. So there was a whole lot of process which was there, right? Algorithms are not deciding. First of all, just understand, a social media platform is not only about news. Right? You are talking about your dog as well. You are talking about your vacations there. You're consuming your influencers when they talk about fashion. You're doing a whole lot of things, and news comes in between. Now, it's been quite some time when major social media platforms lost interest in news. They have time and again reinstated this fact that they are more interested in social media platforms becoming personal spaces for people, sharing what they feel and what they want and what they do. News organizations still have their sanctity, and they still are there. Of course, there has been a lot of complaints about, them losing their credibility, and the entire industry somehow has been paying a price because there are a lot of unknown competitions they are facing and fighting right now. Now, when editors these days are deciding, they are not deciding it in isolation. Even in newsrooms, algorithms are playing a role. Headlines are decided based on SEOs and the trends and taglines and hashtags. All of it is being decided, right? So it's not like algorithms are acting only on at the end of the audiences. They're also assisting or probably driving editors and editorial judgments, and this has been there for quite some time. Now, coming to editorial judgment, of course, we all miss that good old doctor who knew your family history, who was not a specialist of this or that, but a good old family doctor who would treat you not only based on your symptoms, but also based on what your family history has been and what your gene pool has been and all of that. So a good old editor was that. It's not like it doesn't exist anymore, it's still there. And as an audience, you have to find that, and we all do. So the question is, when there is so much of free-flowing content and you are not making a conscious choice of what you want to consume and what you need, what your mind, body and soul needs to understand and to know, then of course, why would you pay for content? But if you're ready to do that, you still have, have newspapers, they're still, credible. You still have your credible sources. Yes, of course, they are struggling with the market forces. You do see, newsrooms letting go of people because they're not making enough money or this. It's not financially sustainable. So, it's sad, but traditional newsrooms are facing a lot of challenges. It's not just technology. There are financial challenges. There are other kind of, challenges which they are facing. So, and amidst all of that, they're still holding, and they should, because traditionally the mantra of journalism has been that a reporter or an editor should only take care of the fact. It will take care of itself. You just need to be there with the facts and let your audiences decide. You don't have to shove your opinion, through their mind and throat, and then drive them in a certain way. That has been traditional journalism. Is it lost somewhere? Yes. Is it gone forever? No.
The good old paradox of choice. Ultimately, even though you have so many options, you are the one who chooses. It's not just the algorithm. Got it. From what you just said, there's also a great debate on how information is sourced today. We see a lot of democratization and globalization of news and information happening. Everybody who wants to be a content creator is also claiming whatever has been clicked on the phone to be a news. In this milieu, how do you think information and journalism and media, the responsibility holds up? Or how do we situate this onus of choice and decision making and truth?
See, democratization of content, as we called it when social media came in, it was applauded, right? You did not, it's been long since we have succumbed to this fact that you don't need a degree to be a journalist. Anybody with a smartphone and a couple of social media handles can be a self-proclaimed journalist. And there are no rules to govern them. For decades now, social media platforms, they have just tried to excuse themselves from any of such obligations, right? They very clearly say that we are not news creators. We just share whatever somebody wants to, right? So they have completely excused themselves from the responsibility of being gatekeeper. The society is paying a price for that. It's more polarized. The world we see today is more polarized than it ever was. It is more confused than it ever was, right? And of course, we are consuming a lot of content, but 90% of the content you're consuming these days is not news. It's not new. It is rehashed. It's second-hand, right? There are trend-driven reels which come your way, and most of them doing the same thing because that is trending today. So everybody wants to, ride the bandwagon and reap the instant fruit. Long term, just look at, okay, so end of the day, probably all of us individually should sit and decide, okay, what is new which we have learned or discovered, or what is it that we have derived today of all the information you've received? You don't know. So a social media handle claiming to be a content creator of news and current affairs may shut their shop tomorrow morning and with no accountability. Vis-a-vis, a registered mainstream media platform has that accountability. They are not, fly-by-night organizations, right? So if they publish something which is factually incorrect, there are organizations, I'm not talking about how effective they are, but there are checklists, there is some answerability which they have, right? And this credibility which they have created was not created overnight. It's taken decades of relentless, being in that business, teams, editorial judgments, policies, government policies, everything. And then, of course, there is a market pressure. You have to stay afloat. Apart from being popular and apart from being right, you have to stay afloat. So those things are there. Now, if it is democracy of content, anybody can be a content creator and anybody can be a self-proclaimed journalist, then and if you are living in that age where you don't have to pay for content, see, and there's a good old saying in marketing that if you are not paying for it, you are the product.
Right.
So, and you don't realize you're paying them through your time and attention. So those understandings, are the audiences aware of what they are paying through? Are they aware of the kind of, mental state or the kind of awareness they end up being, right? So all of that comes together. It's very important now. So you are at your own disposal now. You cannot blame a You cannot blame the collective media for the lack of credibility. You cannot blame anybody. You are making that choice. You decide your algorithm, right? So you are pretty much on your own. And that is where the need of media literacy or information literacy comes in being. So are we spending enough time in that? Right? So I mean, that is the question we all as audiences must ask ourselves.
The responsibility of the audience, the viewer.
The choice is yours, the responsibility will be with you as well.
Imperative. I really liked how you shifted to the economy and how these platforms are minting through your attention span. And the major dent it has caused is the attention economy of the generation today. Because you consume more content if it is 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. So now these videos become shorter. How do you even explain information in 10 seconds, in 60 words, in 20 words? How has this shifted the face of information, news, facts, and content in your perspective? How have these short videos changed the face of media today?
See, there is one end which talks about short videos, and Instagram has said that in the most popular or the most seen videos they've had was less than 10 seconds video. Can you explain facts? Probably not. Can you set the context? No, it takes longer to even set the context. Forget about explaining in details, right? But at the end, at the other end, there are people binge watching, right? The OTT content. Earlier, the maximum you would spend watching a movie was what, 3.5 hours? You are binge watching, right? 10 hours, 12 hours. And Netflix is capitalizing on it. So it's not like long form. There is no audience for long form content. There is, and there have been. Is your content good enough, well researched enough to drive your audiences to that? And when I say this, I'm not only talking about fiction content. Of course, fiction has always been more popular than news. It's always been more popular, right? News is that pill which needs to be taken no matter how much you would want to avoid it. But that is taken because it helps you in decision making. It helps you in being an informed citizen. It helps you in a lot of things. So that is there. But are we not watching documentaries or binge watching documentaries or the series and documentaries on Netflix? They're also being watched. Is your content worth that time and that attention? That is there. So I think, as I said, the market with technology exploded too fast for probably media organizations to even realize and adapt themselves. And they kept running from one post to another and then to another. And probably somewhere their originality or what made them what they were, that was somewhere lost, sadly. But nobody has been able to replace that even today. We still go back to one probably favorite or trusted brand. The crisis in Middle East, you would still go to, say, an Al Jazeera or a BBC or a CNN to see, okay, what's happening, right? Are they polarized? Probably to an extent, yes. So you would also get a counter dose. You'll also go to some other organization, but you still fall back to them. There are some credible social media names as well. You still go back to them, right? And you still consume those 30 minutes, 40 minutes discussions or pieces.
But when I'm talking about the speed of the content, it's not just what we are consuming. It's also what and how quick are we producing. There's this race to be the first to report, to be the first to go viral. How quickly can you go viral? And then the cycle ends in 30 seconds? And then there is a hunger for more. Do you think this has killed the need for depth and context today? Or does that still stay relevant vis-a-vis this world where speed and virality is rewarded?
See, speed and virality is being rewarded in short term. In the long run, credibility still exists and you still go back to them. The healthiest food is the one cooked on the slow burner. And those who are conscious about their health will know this, will recognize this, and will stand by this. Right? If you want to imbalance your mental and physical sanity by fast food, there you are. So the thing is, you have a buffet where everything is available. You have to make your conscious choice. Right. So and that is that again, as I said, democratization of content has left the consumers with a lot of responsibility. Now you have to, since there is so much of democracy, you have to make your choice and bear the consequences. Are you trained enough to make that choice? Do you have enough time and bandwidth to make that choice? That can be questioned. And that is the critical aspect.
Well, very well taken. People say that YouTube has become a news channel. They say similar things about a lot of other media platforms. Today, if you go out and ask people where they consume most of their information from, it's YouTube. How do you, as somebody who has spent so long in this industry, react to these statements?
See, there was a time when mainstream media platforms, they saw social media platforms as another, a way to, or probably another, tool to make their content reach out to the audiences, right? And YouTube, everybody has their own channel, and YouTube is just a platform which helps you create your own channel and let people identify you or discover you and then stay with you, which you, of course, your association depends on the kind of credibility you've made. Now, if you look at how YouTube algorithm works, at the end of the day, what are you there for? If you are there for a sustained business, then you need to make money out of it. And that's what, at the end of the economic viability is something we all should, accept. No media here or no news platform ever can be expected to be in the business of charity. You all have employees who are having a career and running their families. So that part needs to be acknowledged, identified and acknowledged. And I stand by this. The second thing is, okay, so if you look at how YouTube has changed their policy over the years, these days, news is not making as much money for everybody. And if your content is not original, then it's not being promoted by them. Now, this is an invisible, target which everybody is everybody is just paying, playing by trial and error. They don't know the policies, right? It changes overnight. They don't have access to, and I keep talking to all of those influencers. It's a tough time. They don't know tomorrow morning the policy changes and their reach is halved. So over a period of time, traditional media organizations, they have stopped seeing platforms as money-making tools for them or viable money-making tools. It's still there, the content is still being posted, but the reach has suffered. And this has been there for quite some time now, right? And of course, there is always survival of the fittest. So not everybody who's there, of course, you can enter. The barriers to entry are really, really low. You just need 10 minutes, 15 minutes to be there. Can you sustain yourself? That's questionable. Because that takes time. It can no business can be started or made to stand the test of time and overnight. You have to be there for enough good amount of time to be to sustain or to create that credibility. Some of the early movers have had that advantage. People who came late, probably they can only make a difference if they have that content differentiation there. But if you're doing the same rehash things, probably clicks would be there, views will be there. Are those views also translating into money and reward for you? Ask them. Really, off late, of all the YouTube influencers or the news promoters I have been talking to, they just go quiet when we ask them about how much are you making. So that is there. So per click return has been reducing.
Absolutely. The next big shift, or should I say, this shift that has already emerged is the AI, artificial intelligence. AI can already generate headlines, can do some graphics for you, can create a decent short video reel. Where do you think we are heading with this big shift? How do you think AI will impact media? AI will impact information and the way we consume it.
If at all, I think AI is actually established the need of those credible editorial voices much more than before. And the most recent, experience we have had is the Israeli Prime Minister's, whether he's still there or not, is alive or dead, and videos after videos, and fact-checking and debunking and claims of it being AI generated and not AI generated. I mean, all of it, you need that credible voice which can tell you, based on factual analysis, use their editorial judgments, which was taught to them. They've spent several years first learning and then practicing in newsrooms. So that has created. Of course, AI, I wouldn't say, any technology has not been able to kill any industry, right? There are shifts and there are major shifts. So all newsrooms, they are already working. There's a lot of automation going on. There's a lot of repeated tasks which newsrooms are increasingly replacing journalists with. But there are new avenues coming. There was never a need of a separate fact-check team in the newsrooms earlier. But with so much of, even before AI, you had tools of digital manipulation. So a fact-checking was needed in digital era. AI has added another dimension to fact-checking these days, right? So some things will be wrapped up, some things will be completely automated, other things will need more people to understand the ways to navigate through those technologies and come back with credible, trustworthy news, not information or opinion as we tell it.
In this continuous shift, but that we still see in the opinion making, content generation, credibility, there's a constant debate about the traditional methods and the new AI generated methods. Do you think education should also change accordingly? Does traditional education not suffice the new milestones of AI generated era? Or do you think there's still something left in this model that can be tweaked or shifted to satisfy the needs of the skill-based industry that we see emerging today?
Media has always been a skill-based industry, right? And from page making to recording techniques to shooting and editing to navigating through search engine optimization or and social media later on, these have always been part of media teaching and learning. Now, should fact-checking not be a part of the curriculum? It already is, at least we are doing it. Should AI not be part of curriculum? Yes, of course, they need to learn the technology. But what I feel, Guni, these days is in this era of technology versus content, you need to cover both ends of the spectrum. Right? So when my friends from the industry, of course, we are in constant touch. They need new brains. We need jobs for our students, and we keep talking. Till before the COVID era, they would often talk about whether your student knows about SEOs or can they edit, can they shoot on their own. Post-COVID, one question they keep asking me is, can they write? Can they write original? Because somewhere amidst all of the technology, original creative writing, and forget about creative writing, basic writing skills are being compromised. So they're like, can they write? Rest all we can train them on job, right? So the focus should be on covering both ends of the spectrum. Yes, technology is needed because technology is a tool for you to make your content reach out to the masses. Whether it was through a printing press 100 years back or through a television camera and satellite uplinking some 30 years back, or through the internet or through the AI driven or through your mobile phone or all of that, Technology does two things. It helps you create content and it helps you disseminate content. Right? Technology cannot make you see what's happening on the war front on ground zero right now. A reporter needs to be there. Nothing can replace that. And they need to articulate, they need to understand, okay, what is to be covered, what not. I'm not saying they need to be selective, but they need to be sensitive about how much to tell right now, how much not to tell. I mean, these have always traditionally been part of journalism curriculum, right? So you have to cover both ends of the spectrum. So yes, the focus should be on writing, basic writing, pen and paper writing, starting from there to AI assisted writing, and of course all the tools which come along, they need to. And it's not, yes, of course, it's very diversified. In any standard journalism or a media and communication curriculum, 3 to 4 years, a student needs to learn about 15 to 16 software and be master of at least 3 to 4. Right, so they need to understand. So that has been there, and if new technology comes, those will be added, and those must be added, because a young brain is much, expected to adapt to the new technology than somebody who's always been in the industry for 20, 25 years. But what they have mastered is, of course, experience and credibility and what works and what not. Right, so those things are there, but we need to go back to the basics as well. So, of course, all of this needs to be, included. And, of course, we are already doing it.
Absolutely. So, human questions still relevant. What you should show, what you should hide, and the empathy and the sympathy.
And there have been rule books. There have been rule books all along. By the government, by press council, what ads to show, what not to show, how to differentiate news from ads, how to differentiate news from opinion, how to flag them. There have been rules all along. And media classrooms, they don't teach, right? There are handbooks. If you enter a news media organization, there are handbooks which are shared on day one with any employee, right? And they have to abide by those. So those things have been imbibed in journalism, in classrooms and newsrooms right from day one, and they still need to be there. There are AI, guidelines. If you look at news organization, a lot of them have banned chat GPTs, and they have developed their own AI tools, which the employees are being trained on, which they are using day in and day out. So all of this is happening real time.
It's interesting when you say that we still need books and classes to understand AI. So to create short videos, you first need to realize and understand what goes into the video making and how content must be driven, and only then probably the next step could be creation of these short, credible.
And not only that, what do you want to convey? AI can only act at your instruction. It's your story at the end of the day. It's your communication. With all of that technology, if you are not able to communicate point blank, then what's the use? So it's your story. You need to be clear about your storytelling. And that's where going back to the basic is even more important these days.
Very well said. So our classrooms must be equipped today with the tools to enhance the storytelling, probably, and then adapt to these new skills which honor the artificial intelligence and technology. Very well. So, but before we wrap up, I think we should step into this round of quick rapid fire. Yes. I would ask you questions, opinions and thoughts maybe, and then quick answers. The first question.
Yes, let's go.
Okay. Ideal gatekeeper, editor or algorithm?
Editor.
Always. What do you grab?
An algorithm assisted editor.
Oh, absolutely.
But editorial judgment cannot be replaced.
In a situation of war or quick news, what do you rely on? Fact-checked information or quick generated videos coming from mobile phones?
Fact-checked information. As I said, the food cooked on the slow burner is the healthiest. You have to have the patience, of course. Is it hampering your decision making right now? If not, then why be in a hurry?
do you think there is one specific platform that is shaping most the opinions today?
Actually, every age group has their own preferred platform. Right? I'm not on the same platform where my kids are. My students often joke with me that, we were stalking you, we couldn't find you on social media. And I said, okay, which social media platform you were looking for me? I said Insta and, and I was like, wrong place. We are on a different platform. So yes, for every generation, it's different. And the generations are like, it's the range of 7 to 8 years. It's not even 2025 anymore.
Okay, TV or digital? What do you think will stand the test of time?
See, there's no comparison. The technology. Video will always be there. Text will always be there. Audio will always be there. Platforms will change. I mean, I will still have a television at my home. Probably more TVs these days in households. No, are we completely relying on them? No. But if I want to see a visual, I'll switch on that big screen. If there's flood, if there's fire, if there is war, I'll switch on to that big screen. But if I'm on the go and I want to know, okay, the day has started, where is the war headed today? I'll not wait to reach back home to switch on my TV. I'll, of course, go to my mobile phone because that comes really handy and quick.
As journalist, what should you pick, opportunity or risk?
I mean, both. But it's not a question about opportunity or risk for a journalist. It's about what is it that is making sense for you and your audiences.
Perfect. Future of information and content. What do you think will change more swiftly, and are they related?
Technology will always change the way you are seeing. Tomorrow, maybe we can have those, the 3D projections in front of us without any tool, or probably just a gadget this size, right? End of the day, stories will still matter. You'll still look for a good story.
Absolutely. But before we leave you, one final thought. If you had to leave the young students watching us today, what would you leave them with? The one thought, the one closing line.
Embrace technology, but stick to the basic. This is a world where probably your identification as a journalist will be confused with content creators. So if you want to stand that test of time, you need to be a good storyteller with the knack for technology, at the same time with the love and affection, the endless love and affection for facts and truth.
Dr. Shilpi, I've heard a lot of cliches about journalism and media growing up. Is there one cliche you would want to break?
See, it's news when a man bites a dog. Because when you are only relying on exceptions to become news, we live in an era which is also driven by data-driven storytelling. So there's a lot of, data journalism these days. So when you are only talking about exceptions making news, then you are somewhere discrediting those trend-based or data-based stories. So that is a cliche I think I would want to leave behind moving forward.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the wonderful ideas and the ideas we explored today. While the tools of information may have evolved from printing presses to television studios to algorithms and artificial intelligence, but the core purpose of media remains unchanged: to question, to verify, and to tell the stories that matter.